Welcome. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Akasha here, Nan Akasha. And today we're having day 2 of the Money Intuition Awakening Breakthru. So my Intuition Awakening, my Akasha's Infinite Self Mystery School this year, we're getting the whole curriculum out to you. And we have the future, co-create with your future higher Akashic soul self going on right now. And you can always join it. You can always buy these later. They're packaged. Now, Intuition Awakening for this year, the first one is going to be in February, and it's called Money Intuition Awakening. And it's about your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-identity in relationship to your value. Are you worth it? Do you undercharge? Do you not ask for a raise? Do you feel like you're not worthy? Do you think you're not smart enough, experienced enough, whatever, okay? So we're fed belief systems by our culture and by our family that keep us inside of an identity of limitation. So there has been and probably still is some lack, and most of you have been working beautifully on yourselves. Thank you. Namaste. And I also am excited to explore the idea of your identity because it's changing. It's one of the big things that the Intuition Awakening students were saying last fall, and we were all talking about in December was, wow, I feel like a different person. One of my clients got on a session and said her thumbprint thing for her phone wasn't recognizing her, and I get on like Zoom and it says we're waiting for the host where it normally recognizes me. So those are fun little signs that you're changing. Just try and turn my not sure, trying to cool myself off. So these things, because we are changing our identity, we are raising our consciousness, we're moving faster, our perception of time is moving faster, we're able to assimilate and accumulate more information. However, we have to take all that self-help and all that fear and all those ideas of what everybody else said who we were, who we could be, who we should be, and it's time to let them crack. It's time to let that egg break. Because for the first 8 years online, I was working primarily around the concept of the spirit of money. What was your emotional and your mindset, your belief system around money? And I was using all of the tools that I had of working with shamans and mystery schools, energy work, homeopathic doctorate, hypnotherapist, master level, all those kinds of things. And I kept going on these journeys myself, digging deeper, what's underneath that. So if we're in what is the small mind, what we're coming out of, we get stuck in the idea that we're limited, that we have limited resources, that there's no way for something to happen unless we already know how it's going to happen, that there's no money to buy a house if you don't have the money. There's no money to take a trip if you don't have a paycheck that you know is coming in. Like if you work for yourself, there's no paycheck. There's no consistent income. Now that's normal for me. But if you've had a job your whole life where you every Friday or every 2 weeks, you got this paycheck, and you now have a relationship with money on where it comes from, how it comes, and how it can come. So what happens when you say, I need more money, or I want more money, I want to save some money to go back to school, I want to save some money to take a big trip with my family, I want to save some money to go on the dolphin trip with Nan, or go to Intuition Awakening, or take this breathwork course, or become a yoga certification person, right? Whatever it is, there's always something, right? That and money isn't evil, okay? The greed and obsession with it is the problem. It's the imbalance of grasping and hoarding and thinking there's a limited amount of it because it's a concept, okay? It's an energy. And so when you have the belief from your family or your culture or your religion or your school, we're all programmed to every time you watch TV, you're getting programmed. So just be careful, you know what you're receiving. Are you getting poor messages? One of my clients very early on in my early energy spiritual work mixed with hypnosis and healing doctor type of person was a man, I think I told this, but he wanted so much to buy his mother a house because she was very poor and always had been poor. But when he grew up, she said, rich people are greedy and mean. So every time he saved the money, it would disappear somehow. So we are the creators of a reality. So the card just doesn't break, and it's just a coincidence that you no longer have that money that you had dedicated for buying mom a house. It's the inner belief system. It's the inner identity, and his inner identity with money was he needed to stay artificially poor or his mother wouldn't love him. So he did okay, but he was just okay, right? He was like, oh, this is fine, this is good. And he didn't want his mother to think he was a rich, greedy person. So his inner identity was protecting him, quote unquote. Our outer intention is, I want to make that money, I saved the money, oh my God, now that money went away. And he did it 3 times. So when you say, oh, I'm just going to go out and work more hours and find a second job and go back to school so I can get a job that pays more, there's nothing wrong in essence with any of those ideas, but it's the limited perspective you have that leads you to think that's the solution, or the only solution is the problem. And so today on our Money Intuition Breakthru Masterclass, we're going to talk about your money identity, your relationships with money, and some of the heavy beliefs, emotional states that most people carry around money. Money guilt and shame, money fear and safety, and there's a lot of victimhood around money as well, anger and those things. So in the universe of being able to look at energy patterns, that's a belief, a mindset, a thought. An energy pattern could be an attachment you have to somebody. I love my mom, and I don't believe the same things she does, right? Because that guy's adult head said, well, my mom thinks rich people are greedy, but I've grown up and I know it's not really true, so it's okay. He was not in tune enough with his own intuitive communication system, so to speak, to understand that that's in charge. Your subconscious is in charge. It's huge, it's enormous, and it's filled with vows from other lives that say it's not safe to have money. I'll be attacked, I'll be criticized, I'll be killed, it will be taken from me. There's so many of these other lives, which we talked about in the first day of the breakthrough, how the deeper parts of you, your karma, you bring this with you. Karma isn't evil. However, you want to get off the wheel of creating the same pattern over and over. So it took me many, many years in my life when I realized I kept going deeper and deeper into this kind of work, and I turned around and I realized, look at my life. I have money, 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 and then I lose everything. And then I have money, 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 and then I lose everything. And it was varying degrees of time, 10 years or 3 years or so on and so forth. However, if you keep dating the same person and not realizing it, then you need to do some deeper intuitive work so that inner network can start telling you, no, this is going to be the same experience. You don't need this for your soul's growth, okay? So those lives are with us to force that wound to the surface. So you might have other issues around money. There was a client who felt that everything she did was never enough. Okay. And so therefore the pattern of never enough, not enough, which is enormous and in everybody to some degree. It's in our culture. If you just look around, oh no, there's not enough water, there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough resources, there's not enough people to do these jobs. There's not enough, there's not enough, there's not enough, there's not enough. And then when the greed mentality, this is the out of balance thinking that money in and of itself is going to solve the problem. It's going to make me feel safe. It's make me be attractive to women. It's going to make me, be better than my father. It's going to fulfill that emptiness within me. I'm being dramatic, but this is reality, okay? We go to war for money. We kill people for money. We do this on a regular basis, and we have. I'm not saying you personally, but you have to look at the culture you're inside of. And if you have money, you're given special privileges. So we have a very confused relationship with money, and therefore your identity. And here's money. What do you think about it? Okay? What do your past lives think of it? Don't touch it. It's terrible. It equals killing. Okay? We talked about that client yesterday. Then this client was just, her whole life was full of shoulds and not enoughs. Okay? Just in every area of life. So if you think, oh, money's not important, I don't need to worry about my feelings about money, or my family patterns or beliefs about money, or my belief about abundance or lack or worthiness or deserving, or do you believe you have to work hard for money? Do you feel ashamed to ask for money? Do you feel these things? And if you do, are you ignoring them? Are you trying to push past them? Are you just sort of, well, maybe I'll get lucky and make some money over here, and I don't have to think about all these feelings I have. And yet they're making you up. They're repelling. They're making you Teflon to money. I see a lot of people work really, really, really hard. So what happens? I had this pattern too. I'm not good enough. I need to work hard, harder than everyone else. I can have it for a while, but I can't keep it because I'm just never good enough. And that's really easy to say now after decades and decades of living it, right? And then going underneath it and constantly asking for a clearer connection. I need a clearer connection to guidance. I need a clearer connection to what this means in my life. I need clarity. And this kept leading me to shamans and third eye awakenings and ceremonies and mystery schools and ancient knowledge and new technology and science. And that knowledge then went within me, and I applied it to myself, and I got opportunities like losing everything in a divorce and a bankruptcy, being disowned. These give you opportunities. So if you've had some big money opportunities, like you've lost a lot of money or people have stolen money from you or betrayed you with money, take a look. You most likely have other lives in your soul that have these patterns as well, something similar. Now, how does that affect your identity and who you think you are and what you think you deserve? Well, this is the juicy part. This is your family money story, your past money story, your past lives money story, and I'm calling it a money story. And yesterday we went into a little more detail about what I mean. Right now for this, I'm talking about money. I mean self-esteem, or what I call wealth esteem, money, income, things of value. If you have something, none of these are really worth a lot, but if you have something that you value, that you would pay money for, or that you would sell money for, or that you make so that you can have an exchange. So we're talking about all forms of value. And what happens now, we have to talk about you. So that's money, the concepts of money, where you think it comes from, whether it only comes from a job and you need more jobs, or do you know it comes from everywhere, places you've never heard of and thought of. That's the most magical part of doing what I do in this work, is people start having magical money things happen. They get rebates, they get raises, they get bonuses, they get time off, just amazing things happen. Because you start to realize you're limiting your flow. You're going, money, I need money, but I shouldn't need money, and I don't like wanting money, and it stresses me out to want money, and I don't want to ask for money, and I don't want to seem greedy about money, and but I really do need money, and so I'm going to pay the bills while I'm angry, and I'm going to feel guilt and fear and shame and restriction I've been here, okay, or my clients have been here while I'm paying the bills, or while I'm going to talk to my boss, or a potential client, or whatever it is. So the fact is that money is a energy that empowers, expands, and assists you in resourcing time, things, if you're an artist, you need canvases, okay? A studio, time to do it, clients, avenues to find clients. There's a lot of things that aren't money that have to come together if you want to make a business. So then you need an assistant like my fabulous Donna, all right? And so what happens is that here's what you think about money, and you're probably getting a clue now that there's a lot of restrictive, negative, heavy beliefs and energies, vows, soul contracts, karmic knots that have created mindsets, beliefs, and emotional toxic things within your body and field in this life. And it's not bad, but it is part of your purpose for you to live these and complete these and then free all these lives within you so you can all move into a new abundant mindset, a new identity that says, I am worthy. Okay, so we work with your new money story, how you create it, and you can talk about what would it feel like if I didn't feel guilty with money? If I didn't feel guilty if I spent it, asked for it? What if you were a cat? Cats don't feel guilty about asking for what they want. They just go, ooh, baby, pet me, ooh, yeah, catnip, feed, so delicious, I'm so wonderful, and then they leave. They embody the quality of detachment. They enjoy fully every moment, and they trust that everything is there. Think about every other part of nature. It doesn't control its environment. It lives in its environment. So that's a level of belief in infinite source. Now, we're taught limits. There's not enough. And if you live with somebody who's always like, how much did you spend? Don't spend more. I don't want to spend. Don't agree with what you spend. If you were told by your father or someone else that you aren't good with money, or you're irresponsible with money, you don't know how to manage money, whatever it is. These are all in there in some form. Now, you may have over time realized some of them and released some of them. However, whatever in this area of your identity is still active in a lack, limited, fear, shame, guilt story is blocking the flow of communication about opportunities and clients that are sitting right next to you. Okay, so one client of mine, well, this happened a lot, was I told them, they were like, I need $15,000. This one lady wanted $15,000. And so right away. So we were on the phone doing some coaching around releasing her fear, releasing her emotion and her attachment to it, releasing her beliefs that she didn't deserve it, that she won't find it, that she won't have it, and terrible things will happen. Right? Okay. So this is what your identity does. It starts to go, oh no, that thing happened before and it was so embarrassing. And then disappointment comes in, and pretty soon you don't even take action. You don't believe it can happen, and so on. So really give yourself an opportunity to say, what's my money identity now? What is my identity around wealth, worth, worthiness? Do you have your own business? Do you want your own business? Well, if you do you charge enough, or are you stressing or pushing yourself to charge really, really big rates because that's what people said to do will grow your worth or show your worth? And the reality is, you can't do something that you're so extremely stretched and hold the ability to believe and have the coherence happen. So if you suddenly go, well, I've been giving all my sessions away for free, but I've decided to charge $10,000 for them now. Well, that's wonderful in theory. If somebody comes and says, tell yourself all day long, I'm a money magnet, I'm a money magnet, I'm a money magnet, I'm a money magnet, and I get all kinds of clients who have a lot of money and want to pay me $10,000, $10,000, $10,000, $10,000. Well, here's what happens. These were the kinds of things that we did in the new age, right? And it was a good step in the right direction at the time, but we are multidimensional. We're aware of that. We're connected to that. So we're talking about working on deeper and higher levels. We're saying, I'm the creator of my reality, and I'm ready to create intentionally with a strong, clear connection to my higher self, my body elemental, to all the parts of my soul, past, future, all the powers within my blueprint, talents, and abilities. And I want to be in that state of clear communication and every area of your life. However, if you focus on this area of your life at all, you will see the biggest changes in every area of your life, because this is a core foundation of the reflection of your personal value, your perception of your personal value. So, hi guys. Okay, so happy New Year, happy new moon today, yesterday-ish for the lunar new year. And so let's dive in, and then we'll do our process for today. YouTube. There you are. Forgive me for a sec. I'm going to take a sip. Okay, welcome everyone to the Money Intuition Breakthrough Day 2. So this is about reclaiming your money intuition. And I know that a lot of intuitives, light workers, healers, energy workers, big-hearted, beautiful people, we are going to be the ones that the world is seeking. And we're in a transformational phase where we're moving from being too sensitive, too empathic, overwhelmed, afraid of being intuitive, afraid of being accused of being a witch, burned at the stake, and all the interferes of criticism and outcast, pain, and loss that come with your intuition. So intuition awakening courses are designed to continuously give you a space, a loving space with people that are like you, meaning waking up. You can talk about anything that's happening and coming up. You don't have to be afraid. You're not having a mental breakdown. You're having a breakthrough. And you're having a breakthrough that means stepping into your power, reclaiming your power, your voice, your truth, making choices from your inner authority. All the things about this means that now you can't be like a little kid with money. You can't be a little kid about letting everyone decide for you what you do, where you go, what hours you work, how much you get paid, how the money comes to you. Okay, so you have dormant intuitive powers that could be connecting you with, hey, twigging, there's an opportunity. Go talk to that person. Go talk to that person. Call this person up now. Go do this. You see a picture. You have a memory. Whatever it is, those are just the very, very, very tiny tip of the iceberg of your intuitive communication that is coming through now. And perhaps you're like many, many people who have inconsistent intuitive connections. Well, I used to hear my higher self, but not so much anymore. Or, I had years where I had this knowing, but now I doubt myself, or been too busy and all of that. So if you don't develop your intuition, then you cannot be upset about anything that unfolds in your life, because you've chosen to not listen to your own inner guidance. And that's like a ship being programmed with how to go to somewhere, like the rocket ship program to go to wherever into orbit, and you just deciding, I'm just going to turn it off and just bumble around space and hope we happen to get into the right current that would put us in a beautiful orbit around Earth. So the same thing for you. If you're still letting somebody else make your money choices, if you feel not worthy because you're a stay-at-home mom and someone else makes the money, if you feel guilty because you've had losses in your life and you've had to borrow money or receive gifts from family, or you receive money as a trust fund, or you have a wealthy husband, but you're unhappy with that person, or you make money, but you don't touch it, or you spend it all. One of my clients recently said, I make good money and I do well at my job and I'm appreciated and I'm good and I like it. But I just seem to always spend more. And it's almost like I know it, I see it, and I can't stop it. Like I'm in some kind of a trance, or I'm just like, just like the avalanche starts to fall and I go with it. And now I feel stuck because I don't have, I feel like I'm never going to be able to pay the debt down. I keep getting more debt. And so her identity went from I do well to there's never enough. I have clients who have very nice lives, but they don't see it. They have beautiful homes. Their children have all the new gear for biking and cycling and sports and cars, and they don't really understand how most people live on the planet. I live in Mexico. I see every day how people live who don't have much money. And it's a very different experience. And so the perception is from your own perspective. Nothing is supposed to make you feel guilty. So let go of money guilt, please. Now, if you have the opportunity to realize, I have so much, but I don't feel like I have enough, then something in your worthiness, self-esteem, your sense of self feels like you're never enough. You can't get enough, no matter how many compliments you get, no how many times somebody tells you that they love you, no matter how much money you accumulate. I realized this in my marriage before I asked for the divorce, the separation and the divorce. We have very different ways of seeing and perceiving money. I'm not saying one was better than the other because they were both a bit dysfunctional the way almost everybody is because of the way we're programmed. And so what happens when you carry money, guilt, shame, fear from your family, from your ancestors, from your lineage, from your past and future lives that are afraid or were attacked or were lost or the Nazis took your money? There was a client who had, let me get to that in a minute. Now what happens is that this is a part of you and your identity, your relationship. So you could literally be sitting next to the opportunity of a lifetime and your soul and your guides have just danced on their heads to bring it to you, and the person is sitting next to you on the plane. And if you would just feel their nudge and start a conversation, it would lead you to amazing things. But you're in your head, full of fear and worry. Should I have spent the money on this trip? What am I going to do when I get there? I wish this was different, whatever. And you're not present to what is right there next to you. So I shared a little bit about how many times I've gotten clients sitting at lunch, on buses from airports, walking through seminars, just walking through with my intuitive guidance with my team and saying, I'm ready and willing to connect with the optimal client for me at this time. And I'm in my own sacred space. So as I walk through, I'm being me. My identity was, here I am. I'm an expert with intuition and money and healing and energy and spiritual travel and shifting mindsets. And I'm looking for my optimal client that I can serve inside my sacred space. That was my identity. Then I entered the space and said, okay, if any of those people are here, I'm ready and willing to know. Now I've opened my space. I'm being myself. I've changed my identity from, I'm never going to find somebody. What am I going to do? I can't pay my bills. I'm so scared. And I hate networking, by the way. I hated networking. It was the most painful thing I ever did for so long. And I'm glad I did it. It was an extreme struggle. However, I'm extremely at ease with people, places, speaking in public, sharing, authentically being able to listen, never feeling like I'm trying to push anyone, never feeling like anyone's going to be able to push me into anything. It's a very beautiful space. You also don't go into something going like, oh God, I hope I don't sign up for something I don't want, or I don't spend too much money. All right. So if you have a relationship with debt and overspending or spending for therapy type of things, I just needed to, then look, you of course you can have things you love. You want to look at how you're spending. Where's the money? Where's the energy? Okay, so we are in the new moon. It is the year of the water rabbit, which is a feminine sign. It's a yin, and it's a soft, homey sign. It's a very abundant sign, and so it is about your home. So this year we're going to be supported in bringing more of that comfort and wealth into our home. Now, what you want to do is embody the wealthy you, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and begin to live as that you, and then you connect to that part of you. So the things that we do in Money Intuition Awakening class are step by step the things that you will learn. So February we start and do the Money Intuition course, and it's a powerful course. We go 7 classes, and they're all recorded, so you repeat them. Believe me, you repeat them, and if you can't make them live, it's fine and all that. However, having the live interaction and play is powerful. So one of my students who became recently a certified Akashic Light reader with us, I wholeheartedly enjoyed every moment of our Intuition Awakening class. I can't wait to go back and re-listen to it all bit by bit. I am overjoyed and so grateful. Thank you again for everything. And another student also said, last year my life turned upside down, and it really did. If you think big things happened in your life, believe me that my students have everything. And I say, congratulations, my life turned upside down. This is confusing. That's horrible. This person died. That person, this thing ended. And I say congratulations. Not that someone died out of your life, of course. However, you're in a metamorphosis and you're actively in it and you're aware of it. That means things are changing, and you can now step into being in a co-creative, communicative space with what's happening, instead of feeling out of control and in fear that the pandemic's going to happen, or the stock market crashed and everything else. Okay. So last year, she said, my life turned upside down, and I'm proud to say Intuition Awakening supported me through that, and I'm so grateful for your support. The group becomes so loving and supportive. I'm such a different person. I've released and cleansed so much. I've grown and stepped into myself, and I'm looking forward to evolving and co-creating more in 2023. So glad to be with all of you. And so this is the kind of fun we have. Now, just to give you a heads up, that in June there will be a Money Intuition advanced class, which you can take, that will also include a certification option, which you don't need to have. Now, some of the students who took the Akashic Light reading class for certification didn't take it to get certified. They took it for the deeper, advanced personal work and growth, and it's been phenomenal. That was one of the people I just read from you. Also, one of them told me the other day that they think they want to complete the certification portion, so because they've done everything else and it's been so amazing. So this is another student and certified light reader of ours. This works incredible. I'm really excited about all the intuition work and body scanning. It is really paying off and bringing people guidance. I couldn't have done that without your teachings and processes. Thank you for being my spiritual teacher and mentor. The cleanses are really making a difference. I can totally feel the shifts and me coming into my gifts. This works incredible, and I'm eager to see what's in store for me this coming new year. You're seeing me in a brighter light. This certification is a huge accomplishment for me, and I'm so grateful. Thank you again. I look forward to learning and growing more from you on this incredible journey of life. So if you want to think ahead about being able to do the advanced class or add the certification, the process of being able to become an Akashic intuitive money light healer, then you're going to need to take the Intuition Awakening class that's coming up in February. Okay, so let's go down deeper in this idea. Your money identity is filled with disempowering, outdated mindsets and beliefs about who you are and limiting patterns. So you can actively change that and embody the wealthy you and increase what I call your wealth esteem. So developing your psychic and intuitive abilities, because everybody, whether they want to talk about it or admit it or not, needs money. And everybody has some kind of emotion around money. They don't want to think about it. It pisses them off. Any form of being out of balance is the problem. If you love it too much, if you want money for money, if you feel greedy, if you want to take other people's stuff, if you're willing to do illegal, immoral things that hurt people for money, then you're gone way out of balance in your relationship with money. If you feel not good enough, not worthy, you feel like a slave or a servant, or you feel like you can't even ask, please, could I have this? I used to ask as a kid, could I have some money to go buy a kite or something? And my dad would say, well, how much is it? I don't know, it's 3 cents. So he'd be like, well, here's a nickel. Make sure you bring me back the change. And I laugh now, but the mindset around money and valuing it, if you say, I don't care about money, then why would it care about you? And I don't mean that like it's literally walking around that way. However, I used to share this little scene. So go ahead and close your eyes for a minute and see and sense yourself about to enter a party. And you're going to the party and you've been dating this person. And you've just got this this attraction to this person. Like you just want them and you just feel so good when you have them and when you're with them, and you feel kind of possessive, and you're totally embarrassed to tell your friends that you're dating this person. You don't want to talk about like, wow, I'm just so into this person. And so you just act really nonchalant, right? And you go to the other side of the room and you're just talking to your friend and you're ignoring your date, your relationship. And they're walking around the room, they're kind of looking at you, and you're kind of glancing nervously and trying to turn your back to them and not catch their eye and talk. And you're telling your friend, well, you know what? Okay, I want to just tell you, I'm a little embarrassed, but I've been seeing this person, right? And I don't want anyone to know. So now, how long do you think that person's going to stay in that relationship with you? Are they going to be appreciated? Are they going to feel happy to be there with you? Are they going to feel seen? Are they going to want to support you? Are they going to want to love you? Energetically, that's money. That is your relationship with money. If you can remember, a lot of times teenagers do this. Like, I don't like this person, but I'm dating them for a benefit. And it's kind of mean. Or you trick somebody, you have the cute guy date the nerd girl, and then you reveal that it was all a joke. What is the energy between you and that person? Do you respect it? Do you appreciate it? Or do you just feel addicted to it or craving it? Now, when you realize that that's money, and okay, sometimes it comes over, sometimes it doesn't, but you're constantly trying to not allow yourself to have a real relationship, a reliable relationship, a committed relationship. You don't want to go in public and let anyone see that you have money. You're embarrassed that you have it, or are you embarrassed that you don't have it? You don't want anyone to know. Do you need it, but you feel so guilty or disgusting about having to need it that you do what you have to do, but it feels dirty? So you can open your eyes now and take this further by yourself later, okay, in this beautiful new moon energy. We're planting beautiful seeds, and it's the beginning of a new year. The energies are going to start going forward, and it is time for you to say, what do I believe about opportunity, success, and money? Am I working really hard while still believing that I'm not going to succeed, that I'm not worthy of it, or if I make the money, I'll mismanage it? I went through a period after my divorce, after my bankruptcy, where I'd made so much and I'd lost everything that I didn't trust myself with money. I was afraid of it. I was desperately trying to make it. I was desperately trying to take care of myself and my kids, and I felt like I was just doing, but it was the inner energy. I was afraid if I got money that it would all go away again. It would be taken. I would do something wrong. It would go. And it was too painful. It was easier to just, work hard and hope that somehow money will slip through. So now, if you've inherited family, cultural, and soul ideas of who you are and what you can do, especially if you're a woman, apparently there's just a lot of beliefs out there that I didn't get this life, thankfully, that women can't make money, have money, they're not attractive if they make money, and all kinds of beliefs like that. Worked with clients many years who had these kinds of beliefs. Everybody has some part that was told they don't deserve. You don't deserve. You all had a childhood where your identity as a child to your family or your parents or your formal environment was your formative structure. So their beliefs about money, it's evil or it's good. You need it. You have to have it. If you don't have it, you're bad, whatever it is. Okay. I have a lot of money, but I don't talk about it. I don't have money and I yell about it all the time. You have to realize that this was around you. All right. And you may have broken some of these patterns, but deep within you, intuitively, it's time for you to find the limited and lacked identity that you're carrying. Because as a child, you don't have money, you don't have power, you can't make your choices. So a part of that's still there. Have you really released yourself from needing permission from someone else to make money? A lot of people believe that they shouldn't make more money than their parents, that it's somehow embarrassing to their parents or rude or disrespectful, and it may be a very completely subconscious belief. Okay, so you communicate and you cleanse and you realign yourself with a new identity in the money intuition class, and then you see things you never saw. So it's very hard to tell somebody who has bad vision, if they take their glasses off and everything is blurry, hey, look, right next to you. There's 3 clients, there's a beautiful opportunity, here's a free trip, here's, people who want to tell you how fabulous you are so you have the confidence to go do what you're doing, and it's all there. But you're not seeing it, right? You see things, you perceive things, you notice things, communication, guidance, inspiration. I think I want to go here. I think I want to do this. I think I want to talk to that person. You meet people, you notice things, you enter connections that you couldn't see, trust, or believe. And we're going to go into that tomorrow, that you're already rich, that everything that you need or want is already here. However, you first have to have these 2 steps we talked about. What's your relationship with money and your past and future life's relationship with money? What is your identity around money? Are you worthy and deserving? Are you repelling it? All right. So your mindset changes your body and how you feel in it. Have you ever gotten new clothes or lost weight or got a beautiful haircut, and then you just feel good and you stand tall and you walk down and people notice you and they say, wow, you look awesome. And you're like, I know, I feel awesome. This is you radiating, okay? Radiating. And then the radiance crystallizes, and that's how you manifest. So if you were walking, talking, carrying yourself, dressing yourself, thinking, you attract more of what will increase your life power instead of attract things that will drain your life power. Like you say, I'm going to break free from this relationship. It's been abusive, it's been controlling, and I don't get to make my own choices around money, and that's not okay. And then things happen, and then you say, oh, it's okay, I'll stay. And then you make agreements again that you don't have choice around money. I'm sorry. But if you're in a relationship where somebody else gets to decide what you get to do or not do, I mean, if you need to discuss it as a partnership or a group or a family, however, handing the power over is a sure sign you have fears around money, being responsible with money. Your identity is not, I trust myself, I'm abundant, I'm connected, I'm present, I'm here, let's make this happen. Okay? Now, you want to become your own best support, making sure that you do not act or feel like that lack past identity. So this is about beginning to notice the identity you have. Write it down. I highly recommend it. Then next to it, start to build your new money identity, your abundant identity. If I believed in myself that I was abundant, that I was built on purpose, that I was here with a reason, regardless of my current circumstances, people controlling money, lack of money, or anything else, or lack of, understanding where the money would come from a paycheck or whatever, how would I feel? What would that be like? Now, this can be very, very hard. However, if you support yourself to say, oh no, I'm feeling lack, I'm choosing from lack again, then you realize that your health and your happiness, even your ability to be fully present changes. And that's one of the biggest keys. So what I teach in Intuition Awakening cannot be described, because the shift within you to be able to be present, calm, centered, be inside as a witness, and trust what you're receiving. Now, not only can your intuitive guidance communicate with you, tell you what's in the way, what you need to handle right now, what's coming up, what to prepare for, who to call, how to feel, then you start to become the center of your reality. You're meant to be the creator of your reality, literally creating your own world. So you don't have to see money. You don't have to see it in your bank account, know you have the credit, know you're getting a paycheck, know who you can ask for it, in order for you to feel happy, safe, or worthy. That's a huge mistake. What's your relationship to money? Who are you in that relationship? Are you a worthy expert who's open and receptive and co-creative? Or are you a child, powerless, voiceless, moneyless? Okay? Many of you probably know Bruce Lipton. He was in What the Bleep Do We Know? He's a scientist who has done a lot of wonderful work about the idea of biochemistry, bioenergetics, and the idea that your beliefs change your body, your biology. And he said, I was exhilarated by the new realization that I could change the character of my life by changing my beliefs. You believe something about yourself. If you change the character of your belief about yourself, your worthiness, then your life would change. So I was instantly energized because I realized that there was a science-based path that would take me from my job as a perennial victim to my new position as a co-creator of my destiny. So over the 8 years of my first time online, I was actively in the middle of my divorce, and I was working with clients. Chris, my soulmate, I met him partway into that, and he got me online. And I was working with clients on healing and recreating their relationship with money, their income, charging their worth in their businesses, asking for salaries, raises, positions, selling businesses. I got a lot of clients who do day trading because they know that if they don't listen to their intuition and they get overwhelmed by their their emotion, they make bad decisions, they lose money, and they see it happen over and over and over. So they have to become extreme masters of their emotions, their mind, and they have to develop their intuition very, very keenly. So the idea is that if you don't have the identity to step into a position that matches your true worth, you are currently in a position, whatever that means, wherever your money comes from, okay, that is reflecting your inner worth rather, the restrictive inner worth, okay? Let me do this again. Right now, what's in your life is matching the restrictive ideas of your worth. All right. So this is the time to free yourself from that money prison. There are prison bars on your mind that say, well, I can't, I shouldn't, I won't, it's not, they're not there, it's not enough. So what do you think about you and money? I invite you to write it down, to play with it, to do some free flow writing around it. Can you have it? Are you good enough to be paid, valued, or charged more? Do you get nervous when you think about raising your rates or asking for a raise or changing jobs or quitting your job because you hate it and trusting there's a better opportunity? We're not talking about only money, cash here. We're talking about opportunities that lead to other opportunities that lead to rich relationships or abundant publicity or other forms of value. All right. So one of the mistakes is to get caught up on cash. Yeah, it's great. Cash. I love cash. You need cash. Wonderful. But that's not what this is about, because your self-identity, your self-esteem, your wealth esteem is tied up with your channels through which opportunities and guidance can come. All right. So if you undercharge, overwork, or overgive at a work, in a business, in your relationships with your family, in any way, you need to look at it. You're out of balance. What did we say? If you're obsessed with money and you're hoarding it and you're willing to do horrible things for it, that's not what money is. That's what you're doing with it. You're out of balance. If you're feeling unworthy and completely cut off and a failure and with no options around money, you're at the other end of the extreme. Dial yourself to the center somewhere. Whether you realize it or not, you can have more flow, more ease, trust, peace, and joy with money. All right. Your current energy programs, that includes mind, fears, emotional pain, past life wounds, all of that, are interrupting the signal from your future, thriving, happy, on-purpose self who knows she or he is rich and trusts there's always a solution, an adventure, or an opportunity. Okay, so we're going to take our last moments together here and look at the emotional states attached with money. So these are the most common ones. Money, guilt, fear, and shame. Blame is an aspect of guilt. Victimhood and anger. So I've put up the scale. This is something you can get in my shop for free, shop.nanakasha.com. You can also, you get it at all of our classes. We make sure you have it, we use it, and I highly recommend that you use it. So take a look here. The bottom lowest frequency that you can embody in any way and not be dead and still have life force in your physical body is shame. In the state of shame, your emotions are around humiliation. Do you have any humiliation around success, worthiness, and money? Do you despise money, forms of money, working, people who have money? If you look all the way over, the perspective at this state is despising. You despise money. You despise people who have money. You despise yourself when you had it, what you did with it. You despise everything, everyone. And the process, the environment you create is elimination. So you know that when I was in bankruptcy, when I lost everything, my house, my artwork, my 80 properties, my income, my business, everything, I was definitely living heavily. You're never all in one state, okay? But I was carrying a lot of this state. It makes the mind miserable. So if you find yourself thinking miserable thoughts about money, oh God, like that, you know that your mind is having shame. The state of shame is living there. And you are most certainly going to eliminate things in your life. So what did I tell you about my client who tried to buy his mom a house 3 times, and every time something came along to get rid of the money so he couldn't buy the house so that his mother wouldn't think he was a rich, greedy person. He wanted his mother to love him more than anything, and so internally the shame he still held, that eliminated the money that he raised to do what he wanted to do. All right, let's look at guilt. The next. Money, guilt, and shame are the number 1 heavy energies held in emotion, body, in mindset, and identity that create confusing relationships with money, following get-rich-quick schemes or desperate things. There's destruction in this level. Look at the process. Destruction. So shame eliminates. And guilt and blame is the emotional body. That's the number 1 hobby on this planet. Blame everyone and everything else. Blame global warming, blame the government, blame whatever, you name it, on and on and on. Blame yourself, blame your past, blame your parents, blame the economy. You can do it all day long and you have proof and you can stand there and feel righteous as you want, or do you want to be happy and rich? Because you can't be in guilt and shame, blame, evil, think evil thoughts about money and your self-worth and other people, and destroy everything around you. Become vindictive. How about one more up? Indifference, despair, hopeless thoughts, abdication. That means you just leave. I don't care anymore. I had that. I had that with business. Oh my God, I just give up. And then you just abdicate. You leave behind what you had, and you condemn yourself to what? To poverty, to fear, to loss. How about grief or regret? Regret's a really good one. So do you have regret with money? Do you regret that you made certain choices, that you spent money, that you didn't tell people about money, that you didn't ask for more money, that you wasted your life being afraid of money, not doing the things you wanted? There's a lot of regret. Then your mind is thinking tragic thoughts. So as you move up to fear, you notice that your emotional field feels anxiety. People feel often anxiety almost all the time now. Where you feel fear and anxiety around money. Well, when I was going through my divorce, I didn't know how I was literally going to feed my children. So I had enormous anxiety. I was sweating to death. I had frightening thoughts. My mind would not stop frightening the shit out of me. This is going to happen, that's going to happen, and this person's going to know, and I'm a loser. And then you do what? You withdraw. You can't create value in the world when you withdraw. And then your perspective becomes punishing, punitive to yourself, to others. So you can see that these lower states, all the way up to pride, you might feel scorn. That's just stupid. I would never do that. I would never charge money. I met this woman early in my spiritual awakening days, and I was working very hard to learn all kinds of energy medicine and communicating with animals, and I barely made any money, but I loved every minute of it. And I had a pet sitting business, barely made any money, but I loved every minute of it. So it was very, very rich because I had days to myself while my husband was at work to do all my spiritual work, and I gardened, and I lived in New Mexico in a very spiritual land, and I had land that I could work in. So there was riches galore, but it wasn't in the form of money at that time in my life. And I was new to spirituality. My life had fallen apart. My business had closed. And I left and went to New Mexico. And I felt every day that I wanted to hide this withdrawal, right? And I felt safe with animals. And I felt safe with spirit. But I didn't feel safe asking for money. Okay. And I felt this scorn, right? About what's the matter with you? You know, you're just doing this puny little job. You used to have this big, important business. And that scorn kept me from having the courage and giving myself the permission to be empowered. So when I moved to New Mexico, it was not a time in my life of making a lot of money, but I had a beautiful house and a very rich life that I designed. And it is when I found a lot of the cravings, the unfulfilled desires at a lower level, where I never felt like I was appreciated or got what I wanted, and therefore the regrets held me back. Now, one more thing, if you feel stuck with money, stuck with your business, stuck with what direction to take, stuck in how to talk about money, ask for money, grow money, or whatever, then you want to look at the state of addiction or desire, where your emotional field's craving, craving, craving. This is where we see most people in the world, big countries and big businesses. They're greedy, they're craving, they can never get enough, they consume, they're always disappointed. We need more, we need different results. And this is a process of enslavement and constant denial. You cannot get out of that loop until you intuitively and energetically free yourself. So that's the beautiful ideas that I want to share with you today, and to give you a look into both the power of the emotional states, the mental states, and how you could say, oh, I don't feel shame anymore. You know, I used to have a lot of shame, but I feel better about myself. And you know, if you're like me and you've aged and you've been through a lot of shit and you've done a lot of learning, all of those things combined really help free you from needing to worry about what everybody else thinks all the time. However, this is going to take you to a deeper level. So if you're an intuitive and a light worker and you feel like maybe this is an area of your life you haven't found balance in yet, that you would like to free yourself from. And the interesting thing is when you find out that you have a life where you're afraid, that you feel like the client I was talking about, who everything was never enough, but it went both ways. So she felt like she was never enough, that she had to work hard, but she also felt like nobody ever did enough for her. So she had to do everything. And she was the only person reliable. So there was never enough reliable help or support, family or business or whatever. And the not enoughness was also in money. She made good money, but then the pipes broke and all those different things would happen, right? Because to keep the money balance, okay? So you're starting to realize you have a lot of different energies making up your blueprint around money, your energetic mindset, your beliefs, your soul's past and future fear lives, wound lives, expert lives, power lives. And as you go on this journey, it's really a journey. This money intuition is a journey into you, into a fascinating part of you, because you start to find these parts of you that have been living with fear and restriction that can now, you're gonna have more energy, more clarity, more ease, more grace, more self-love, and a lot more fun and a lot more presence. So I hope I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about already rich and beautiful things of where things are already around you and how to make that more of a real thing instead of just a concept. Thank you, everybody. Namaste. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Happy new moon. Happy new year. Let's all be like the rabbit, be abundant, make a cozy, warm space for ourselves, and really allow that feminine creative energy to come up now and bathe you in love as you create these seeds. So you may be planting seeds for the new year and ideas. And in the future co-creative class, we're co-creating, we're developing our inner third eye so we can crystallize things into form and say, I think I'd like this. What do you think? And have a co-creative process. So you can do that now with the idea of money. Could you create a money identity that was loving and supportive of that current of energy, that you begin to shift into believing that money loves you, that supports you, that money loves your projects and will come, that there's always a path, or the path will lead to something even better. All right. Okay, everybody. Mwah. You're so welcome. Thank you, Kim, Sandra, Josie, Pamela, Eritag, and everybody else I can't see. Ciao, ciao.